this is Andrea of the Yarn Pack a Moment, and today I wanted to go over filet crochet. So this is a technique where you use double crochets and chains to create a mesh fabric. Now you can use other basic stitches like half double crochets or trebles, but typically it's done with double crochets. And there are two different versions of filet crochet. There's a 3 double crochet version and a 4 double crochet version. And there is a difference because one, as it would indicate, is considered to have 3 stitches per block on the chart of versus the 4 double crochets on the other chart. So here is a little draw up that I did, and the easiest way to think about this that I've learned is to consider for 3 double crochet each black block as 2 double crochets and each white block as 1 double crochet, 1 chain and skip. And sorry, my notes are a little bit messy, but for the 4 double crochet version, there's 3 double crochets per black stitch. So it's 1 double crochet, chain of 2, which will skip the 2 stitches over the chains or under the chains for the 4 double crochet version. And you will typically get a black and white chart, and the black blocks indicate the double crochets and the white blocks indicate the chain and double crochet stitches that will be open, the open stitches. And you can have a positive image or a negative image, excuse me, and the positive image has more open mesh around the image, and the negative image, the mesh is the open stitches are the image. And I didn't color this in, and I should have, because in this chart this should all be black surrounding these to be the negative image. So what else is important about filet crochet to talk about? This is a great technique if you want to do an image but don't want to change color, because it allows you to see an image without changing color. And let's get started. So these ones I am going to use for this tutorial because they're small. And as you can see, I have 1 through 4 marked here, and then a note to chain 10. And that's because to find how many chains you need to do for each, you need to do a little bit of math. So I have 4 stitches here, and I'm going to multiply that by 2 because each black block is 2 double crochet stitches, considered to be for easy thinking, and that is times 2, so 8. And then I add 1 for an edge stitch, and I add another 1 for the alternative turning chain. If you're going to do a regular chain of 2, then you need to add 1 more chain to this. So instead of 10, I would have 11 if I was doing a chain. And for the 4 double crochet version, I have a note to chain 14, and that's because I'm taking 4 times 3, which is 12, plus the 2 additional stitches to account for an edge stitch and an alternative turning chain. And yeah, let's get started. So I've already chained up 10 for this, and I'm going to work my alternative turning chain into the 2nd chain from the hook. And an alternative turning chain is a stacked single crochet. So now for that first image, I'm doing the positive image, and my first block is going to be open mesh. This alternative turning chain counts as a double crochet. So I'm going to chain one, skip one, and then I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch. And for this one, they're all open, this first row for my chart that I'm doing. So again, I'm going to chain one, skip one, double crochet. And that is the repeat for the chart that I'm using for row one, and how you create the open mesh in 3 double crochet, filet crochet. And then I'm going to just finish this up because my sample is so small. I'm already pretty much at the end. And then to turn, I'm going to, or to start row 2, I'm going to turn my work. In that first stitch, I'm going to work a alternative turning chain, which again is just a stacked single crochet, which you just enter into that first leg of the first single crochet that you did. Now for this row, I have an open box followed by a closed box or block. So I've done my alternative turning chain. I'm going to chain one, skip one, and work a double crochet into the next. So according to my chart, my next stitch is going to be a closed mesh stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, and you have a couple of options. You can either work into the chain itself when you're working over a chain space, or you can work into the chain space. Working into the chain space is much quicker. I don't like that look as much because it drops the stitch down just a tiny bit. But yeah, so for my closed mesh, I'm doing 2 double crochets to make up that. And then I'm going to do one more. So here's my 2 double crochets. I'm going to do another one of those because I have 2 in my chart, 2 closed mesh boxes together, and then the next one is open. So I'm going to work a double crochet for this open stitch, chain one, and then skip one and work a double crochet into the top of that alternative turning chain. And now for row 3, I'm going to turn my work, make an alternative turning chain, and then it's a repeat of the previous row. So I have an open mesh, or an open stitch first. So I chain one, skip one, double crochet, and then I have a closed block, which I'm going to work 2 double crochets for, and the same thing, I have another closed block, so 2 more double crochets, and then for this open mesh, this is the start of the open mesh, I am going to chain one, skip one, and then into the top of that turning chain, I am going to put a double crochet into that. And then I'm going to turn my work, and this will be row 4. So alternative turning chain first, and then it's open mesh all the way across for this one. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and then chain 1, skip 1, and finish off with a double crochet. So this is what my sample looks like, and you will see that I have a square in the center of my bigger square, and that's what that looks like in comparison to that. So this is the closed bit, and this is all of the open bit. Now I'm going to go into the 4 double crochet version, and I'll work the negative aspect image for that as well. So I'll meet you up when I get that chain done. Okay, I have chained 14, and for this one, this should be colored in black around this square. So I'm going to start out with 3 double crochets, and the very first one is actually going to be an alternate turning chain into the second chain from the hook to count as my first double crochet. So when you're working these, one block is considered to be 2 or 3 double crochets depending on which version you're doing, but you're not working increases into any one of these. You're working 1 stitch per stitch, and that's why when you think about it as 3 or 4, it can be confusing because your blocks are always going to share a stitch, and the shared stitch for this one, for example, is this one. So here's block 1 and here's block 2. Block 1 and block 2. Get that out of the way. So that's one of the really important things to keep in mind when you're working filet crochet, and especially when you're working and switching between the open mesh and the closed mesh. It's really easy if you have a lot of closed mesh all together because you're just working the double crochets across until you come to an open mesh spot, and then that's where it can be confusing. So I'm nearing the end, and just like in the 3 double crochet version. Okay, so I'm at the end, and now I'm going to turn my work for row 2. I'm going to work my alternate turning chain, and then for this one, my first box is closed mesh, so there's 1 double crochet, and each of these have 3. The closed mesh, there's 2 and 3, and then the next one is open mesh, which is a double crochet followed by 2 chains, and then skip 2, and then work that, and then I have another open box, so I'm going to chain 2 straight away, skip 2, work a double crochet into that skipped, or into the next stitch after the 2 skipped, And then I'm going to finish off with 3 double crochet because I have 1 black block left. And then for row 3, it's the same thing as row 2, where I'm starting out with 1 black block, a closed mesh space, followed by open mesh. So 1 double crochet, chain of 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next, and then a skip 2 straight away, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 straight away, and then finish out with 3 double crochets. And if you can't quite get the difference down, like between, oh, when should you switch to closed mesh or open mesh, you can go visually too. If it doesn't look right, then you probably haven't done it right, insofar as like having too many double crochets or having too many skip stitches or whatnot. So that's how I go about it. Like if I'm working along and it just doesn't look right, then I will stop and look at it visually and try to find out why it's not working quite right. So this is row 4 of my sample chart and piece, and it's a closed mesh row. And again, you've got a couple of options for working into the open mesh spaces. You can either just work into the chain space or into the chains themselves, depending on the look you're going for. Both do work, and working into the chain space is a lot faster than working into the chains, which could have become tight after working along, because mine do sometimes. I tend to pull my stitches a little bit more. And that is my negative image chart, excuse me, done in 4 double crochet, filet crochet, which uses more yarn, and it makes the piece bigger because you have more stitches per row. And that's it. I hope you found that useful and helpful, and please stay tuned for more, and thank you so very much for watching my content. And I have a blog post about filet crochet and the different versions as well. If you wanted to read that, just visit my blog, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.